yourself.
What do you mean of that?
What do you mean you are taking me on? What does that phrase mean?
You called us micro.
When you are micro minority, doesn't Avenia himself use that phrase? What do you mean yourself? I don't have time for you think you can bully me here? Hey,
No, I've never
what this silly children and bully me?
You heard the word she used. She called me silly. She called me silly.
Are you a silly child?
No. We will deal with this matter. You called me
Wait, I
silly.
don't have time for you.
No. I wouldn't.
Did I mention your name? Why are you taking a hat on your head? Did I mention your name? You that you were fighting on TV about this your seat, you are coming to flex over here.
Please.
Did I mention your name?
You cannot call me
Did
silly.
I mention your name? Did I mention your name? You can carry a cross you want to carry. I'm going. If you I'll tell you.
This morning, we were on our usual duty on the appointment committee. There was some disagreement amongst us. So the respected First Deputy suspended sitting, and we engaged. When we came back, minds were not meeting. So we suggested humbly to the First Deputy that we should further take a break. Speaker, I must fully disclose that the nominee who was before us, the Honorable Boama, is a long-time friend. So, in the face of the disagreement, I felt I should reach out to my friend and tell him that it's not personal, it's not about him, only to have a rude shock of my life. And colleagues, we need to take these matters in good stride. We are all MPs. What has happened to me today can happen to any of you. A lady I have never met in my life, only later to be told she's called Victoria Emefa HardCastle, who is the acting chief executive officer for the Petroleum Commission. Speaker, I didn't say a word to her. I didn't provoke her in any way. Suddenly, insults were being hurled at me. Silly, stupid, useless. At a point, I thought they were referring to somebody. Why would I be abused to this extent? Why I haven't said anything? I haven't provoked you in any way. So not to belabor the point, I feel my reputation is lowered by these attacks. People think they can subject Parliament and turn Parliament into a punching bag. This is unfortunate. And I'm told she's a lawyer. I was surprised the attitude she put out. So I am respectfully bringing this to your notice and further invite you, so pending the formation of the privilege committee, Speaker, I am inviting you and making pleadings to you. I'm humbly inviting you to make consequential orders and to ensure that this matter is dealt with ultimately.
Let me refer the House to Order 31, Rule O of our standing orders. And with your permission, I read. So, Speaker, the said rule states, and I quote, any act or omission which affronts the dignity or authority of Parliament or which tends either directly or indirectly to bring the name of Parliament into disrepute. The Speaker, such an act constitutes contempt of Parliament or breach of parliamentary privilege, if you read from Order 31. The Speaker, and therefore, the ordeal the Minority Chief Whip was subjected to is one which clearly not only affronts the dignity of the Minority Chief Whip, but affronts the dignity and authority of Parliament as a whole. So, Speaker, we've all watched the video, and I should say that I was particularly surprised at the conduct of the lady in question. So, Speaker, I don't know her that well, but I know her casually, and I know her enough to know, Mr. Speaker, that he's a senior member of the bar. He's a senior lawyer, and he's been around and done a few things in our country. And so I almost did not believe that, and of course, this was a video, and therefore, as I say, I was terribly surprised that a senior lawyer of her age and all of that could utter such words, Mr. Speaker. The Minority Chief Whip has repeated some of them, but I'm not too sure that I will, for example, with the greatest of respect, Mr. Speaker, show a video like that to my children. Because, I mean, when we are involved in public engagement, we should be mindful of all of these. And Mr. Speaker, there's one final point I think is absolutely important that we underscore. Mr. Speaker, this our democracy is come of age. We began this democracy from 1993. We've seen a series of changes of government. I think this is about the fourth change of government. And Mr. Speaker, the issue or the concept of arrogance of power is one that I believe we should all be mindful of. Mr. Speaker, if you allow me, I will refer to the founder of the NDC himself, President Rawlings, who's had several occasions to make submissions and analysis of arrogance of power. And I think, Mr. Speaker, himself, in some of your official statements, you've underscored this point of the need for us to eschew arrogance of power. So, Speaker, this government is less than 1 month old. And I don't say this from a partisan lens, but I say this as a canker that we all should watch. Those of us who are the privilege of serving in the erstwhile government, the jury is still out there, how we conducted ourselves. Our colleagues can attest how we conducted ourselves. But those who've been given the opportunity and privilege to serve now, I think it's absolutely important that they be mindful that they are serving at the behest of the people. And therefore, they should serve in humility. And they should serve with respect. Just because the president himself, and I refer to President Mahama, has had multiple occasions to call on his appointees to eschew arrogance of power. His first swearing-in ceremony, which was the time he sworn in the respected Minister for Education and others, this was a theme, the major theme he spoke to. But Mr. Speaker, we are here, seeing appointees with the greatest of respect beginning to behave in all manner of ways. And it's just less than 1 month. It's less than 1 month. And so, Mr. Speaker, I want to support the call by the Minority Chief Whip and also pay some attention to the point made by the Minister for Roads and Highways. And Mr. Speaker, in your wisdom, will strike the careful balance. But it's important that we use this as an example to send a clear signal to the country and the population that Parliament will not be disrespected. And I think in so doing, it will also be important that those who have been given the privilege to serve at the behest of the people as servants of the people. In a democracy, you serve as a servant of the people and not to lord it over them. We'll be mindful of arrogance of power. I want to conclude, Mr. Speaker, by commending highly the Minority Chief Whip, the Member of Parliament for Nsawam Aduajiri, the Honorable Annor Dompreh, for how he collected himself and how calm he was. I'm not too sure if I will be able to pass that test. But he was very calm. And in the wake of provocation, insults, and the rest, all he could say was that I will take this matter up. And rightly so, he's taking it up here. And I believe that, Mr. Speaker, Parliament and yourself should support him and support the House and make sure that the dignity and authority of Parliament is preserved and and protected. I thank you very much for the opportunity, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. I rise to support Majority Chief Whip. Mr. Speaker, the action of the lady is unacceptable. As a woman, I will advise her to apologize and retract the words using on the Chief Whip as soon as possible. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, as I listen to him, we only can appeal to him that we share what the Honourable Member for Damangu said, that this House must stand united, indeed unanimous, in condemning the conduct and in demanding an apology and a retraction of it, but to persuade our colleague not to pursue further, wanting this matter resolved at the Privileges Committee. Mr. Speaker, the mention of it even on the floor of this House will send some warning to the public and non-members of this House that the Parliament of Ghana is clothed with both penal and disciplinary powers vested in it by virtue of Article 122 of the 1992 Constitution. And Mr. Speaker, contempt, you have been a torchbearer of wanting to preserve the honor and dignity of Parliament, the honor and dignity of members of Parliament, and more importantly, the honor and dignity of our political class. So, to honorable members, we do not and we should not accept that conduct and that insult. Today it is him, tomorrow it may be you. That is why we must stand united in condemning it. But to Honorable Minority Whip, I'm pleading with you that because it's a woman, and you know Ghanaian society and our patriarchal values, forgive her. But before the forgiveness, as the Honorable Doyo, the Deputy Whip said, leader, the Honorable Mama Yarga, we should get the affected person to render an unqualified apology to the Minority Whip and follow with a retraction of the story, and that should let matters rest.
I wasn't angry, but I was actually saddened that a lady had behaved in that manner. Because here we are in Parliament pushing to implement affirmative action, where, if you recall, I spoke on the affirmative action the other day, and we're all trying to push for it, make sure that women in leadership, we raise the numbers, and that we recognize women in leadership, in Parliament and outside Parliament. So I was very saddened to see another woman actually who is going to take up a leadership role as a CEO of the Petroleum Commission, actually describing the Minority Chief Whip in that manner. When you get into the public space, when you become a public figure, you chose to become a public figure, and you have to watch your demeanor, your behavior at all times, wherever you find yourself, okay? So that's why I was saddened, because I was actually happy, yes, I was happy to see her appointment, that she had been appointed as the CEO of Petroleum Commission. I don't know the lady. I really don't know her. I've never spoken to her, but I was happy for her. Because here was a woman who was being appointed to a high position at the Petroleum Commission. So I was extremely happy. So that's why I was saddened to see what had occurred. We have to be a role model for our children, for the youth. So it is not, and that goes for all of us. So I believe that because they learned from us, they learned from you, they learned from me, they learned from all of us. We're role models. So we really have to be take a step back, even under tension, take a step back, take a deep breath, and then control your reaction. There are chances where you want to flare up, but you have to remind yourself that people are watching, because now you're a public figure. It's very difficult, I find now, that when you're a public figure, because everybody is watching you, and so, but that's what you chose. You chose the service, the public service. So I would advise her as a fellow sister to apologize and to retract in the same manner where she voiced out her opinion or description. That's my advice to her. But I wish her well. I don't mean anything. I'm not trying to malign her at all. But we need more leaders. We need more women. We need more women in the leadership positions. We need more women, and we're fighting. And I will always fight to have more women in leadership positions. So that's my advice to her. Having this attitude doesn't help women. It doesn't help women, because women, let me tell you something. When a woman is confident, sometimes in our culture, it's seen as you're arrogant, okay? When a woman is assertive, sometimes in our culture, it's seen as you're too known, because you're arrogant and you're confident. But in this case, it was insulting. It was offensive. So there's no, you can't justify it. So all I'm saying is that she should apologize, just as my senior Honorable Haruna said, and the other honorable member said. She should apologize and retract. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
This is an opportunity for me to draw your attention to it. That please, respect is earned. How we behave or misbehave will determine how the people will behave towards us or misbehave towards us. I am not referring to the complaint that they've just lodged, because I know the minority chief very well, and I know he has strong views, but he knows how to comport himself. So I'm not referring to this instant issue, but generally, members, you are referred to as honorable. Behave honorably. And as I keep on saying, if you insult your father, your child will beat you. That's how the world is created. Please, let's be more serious than we are. I end it here. I will, by Thursday, because tomorrow I will not be available. Thursday I'll handle the matter, and by Friday I'll revert to the House. I hope this is acceptable to the House.